I'm so excited you could be here with me today. This is Esther at Stampin Star Creations doing the Global Stampin' Video Hop. This month's theme is plants and flowers, so I'll be using the plant pot from Simply Succulents stamp set and stamping it in terracotta tile. Then grabbing my dark Cajun Craze Stampin' Blend pen, and I'm just going to use this dark colour to colour in the pot to give it a terracotta look to it. So just stroking very carefully across the page, across the image, and I'm going to turn it round and then just come in from the other side. Then using just this colour by itself, I'm going to build up some shading and just going over a few spots on one side to make it look darker. The more you apply of the Stampin' Blends, the more the ink will lay down, and this gives you the shading. I'm very excited to have my mini emboss machine, Stamp and Emboss from Stampin' Up, and I'm just going to run that through. Got to hold it down to make sure it doesn't shake about, and out it pops with the matching die. Now I didn't want the white edge, so I'm just going to fill that in with my Stampin' Blend pen. Next we're going to grab in the Strawberry Builder Punch, and I'm using Bumblebee. Now I could use some other colours, but with my original idea these are the colours I had in mind. So I'm just cutting out the strawberry tops to create the background of my flowers. So I've cut out 10 altogether because it takes 2 to make 1 flower, and I'm making 5. And then using terracotta tile paper to cut out the flowers, which will be the centres. Then using the matching dies from the Succulent stamp set, I'm going to cut 2 of these out with garden green cardstock, and these are going to act as the stems to the daffodils. I'm laying these on my foam piercing mat, and then if you've got something with a rounded edge like a Tombow or the pokey pick up something or other tool, I can't remember what it's called, I'm just pressing this into the foam mat to give it a 3D look, and I'm going ahead and pressing in the yellow ones as well. So we don't actually need these stalks, so you can rip them off, or I'll give you a tip in a minute rather than ripping them off, and just putting a tiny touch of glue in the centre, and then we're going to put these together to match them up. You will get an overlay and you can see the crease, but it's fine for what I need it for my project, and I think it looks a little bit more realistic for the petals. So go ahead and do this to your other flowers. Oh, this is my tip. You can put these together and then just snip off the stems in one go, which makes it a lot easier. So just to show you again, just lining up those 2 petals, top and bottom, so they are almost mirror image. Putting a dab of glue in the centres, and this is where we're going to add those small flowers in the middle. Now, before you do this, right at the very end, I do actually stamp in the middles. So if you are following this and want to give it a go, maybe now's a good time to stamp in the middle if you have the same stamp set. The glue was just sticking to everything, it's jumping about. So I decided I wanted to have a frame for the daffodils, so I'm using the In Good Taste Designer Series paper. The second largest, and I think it's about the 4th largest square in these layering square dies. Don't they look neat and tidy? I've just bought them and I was keen to use them. So I'm going to cut out a frame shape with that paper. And there it is there. So I'm really sorry that I skipped recording this bit. I've grabbed out some watercolour paper, given it a watercolour wash using Pear Pizzazz ink, and thrown in some splatters for good measure as well. And me being impatient, I've gone and blow dried it with the heat tool. I run it through the embossing machine again with this cool effect. I can't remember the name of the embossing folder, so sorry. And to give it this kind of canvas look in the background. I felt like the paper was still a bit plain, so I'm bringing in my stencils with a blending brush, which I've had pre-Stampin' Up. I would just say Stampin' Up have brought out their own blending brushes now. So I'm just going to colour in some of the area on that watercolour paper. And I think this leaf effect goes nicely with my my plants. So adding it on some yellow card, I was not convinced on the bumblebee, just for whatever reason it just didn't look right, but grabbed in some garden green and so I swapped it out and it looked better, more neutral, and it helped just to ground my card. And then I felt as if this paper was still a little bit flat, that I just felt like it needed something. So I'm running my scissors along the edge and I'm just scraping off the paper fibres, and this paper is super strong, this watercolour paper, and it just provides that jaggedy edge. Go ahead and glue that down onto your card base. And then working on the frame, I thought it'd be really fun to make this 3D, and so I've grabbed out a dimensional strip and running it along the edge and just carefully bending it around the corners. You don't need to snip it off, you can just bend it around. And amazingly, look at that, almost made to measure, perfect fit. And don't forget to peel off the backing. I'm just positioning this in place just to check where it's going to go, and then peel off the backing in order to stick it down. If I can get hold of that backing, there we go. Peel that bit off and then stick it down. Then with the pot, I'm just going to bend over the side, just using my fingers to manipulate that a bit for a bit of a curve, and then popping a few dimensionals in the middle. I probably could have afforded to put some more dimensionals on there, but it was too late. I'd already gone ahead and stuck it down. So putting the stems into the plant pot at slightly different heights and trying to make them as tall as possible, and then adding some mini dimensionals to the back of my little daffodil flowers. So before you go ahead and actually adhere these, just place them first so you get an idea where they need to go. Once you're happy, I've gone ahead and stuck those down, but the middles felt as if they were still lacking in something. The embellishments weren't really doing it for me, so I've grabbed out the All Things Fabulous stamp set, and I'm looking for a tiny centrepiece. Just needed a filler stamp for that middle. So call me brave, call me stupid. I am doing this after the event, after I've stuck everything down, and I thought this could go either way. I could completely ruin my card if I'm not careful. And the centres was just what I was looking for. I just needed something to draw your eye into the middle and to make it darker. So I'm using the terracotta tile. I managed to stamp all of them without any smudges or smears, which I was very grateful for. And there, at this angle, you can really see the 3D effect of my card. It probably needs a box to house it rather than an envelope, but there we go. There's my project for this month's Global Stampin' Video Hop. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Let me know if you give this a go, and I was quite pleased with my innovative daffodils. Every year I like to make a daffodil card for St David's Day for a friend who is Welsh, so I hope she likes this card and you get a sneak peek of how it looks. Thank you so much. Please do hop along and check out everyone else's project. The links are below. Take care and have a good